Kirby Smart would be the guy that most recently and most famously said that recruiting never stops, and it especially doesn't stop at a few different stops across the country, and Texas A&M would be one of those places. There's no doubt about that. What a job Jimbo Fisher and his staff has done here in 2022, and it's not necessarily quite complete. We got Andrew Hattersley on the line from Gig'em 247 Sports. Andrew hosts our post-game show after all the Aggie games right here at the Voice of College Football as well. Andrew, how's it going?
Good, and yeah, you're right. It never stops. They kind of finished the season, and it was time to hit the road again. And I think they've been hitting 5-6 schools a day around Texas and around the U.S. for the past couple of weeks. So I'm sure they're ready for Wednesday and National Signing Day as much as everybody.
So as we discussed before the record, and it's not necessarily a secret, this is the #1 rated class in the nation for this season, and very close to being the #1 class of all time. So on National Signing Day, it was already the #1 class. And then there were something like 3 top 5 position players committed after National Signing Day on December 15th to even bulk up the class even more. But I'm sure college football fans, being a certain breed, that's certainly, they're certainly happy about that. But when you've got the likes of a Harold Perkins committed and then he decommits, I'm sure some people are a bit shaky considering where he stands right now. So what can we expect there?
Yeah, that one stung a little bit just because of he's such a difference maker. Just I thought Steve Oldfong brought up a great point that he could be the #1 player theoretically at running back or at linebacker, and just the talent that he has on both sides of the ball. That one stung a little bit because it was at a position of need for A&M, but A&M still battling heading into Wednesday with LSU in Florida. The staff had already used Jimbo Fisher's in-home visit before the early signing period because they knew he was making his decision on January 2nd at the Under Armour All-America game. So they used his in-home visit during last month. But, the whole defense staff, other than him, went in to meet with Perkins last week. And, he's just going to sit down over these next couple of days with his family and kind of make a decision. He's originally from Louisiana, so he's got some strong ties there. He's got a lot of family that all went with him for his official visit this past weekend down to Baton Rouge, and all indications are that the weekend went really well. And the word we've heard the past couple of weeks is kind of a homey environment that he's looking for, that coming from his family, from him. And so it's going to be really interesting what he ends up deciding. A&M would obviously love to get him back in the class, and will really be pushing to get him. He's been a target for so long, and seems like he's been an A&M lean for so long that it would sting to lose him at the end, especially to a rival like LSU. But we'll see how the next couple of days go.
To your point, Andrew, when he decommitted, I was looking up various articles and metrics on him, and I didn't realize I looked at the offensive side of the ball, and it's not uncommon for players to play on both sides of the ball in high school, but my goodness, 2,400 yards and some crazy amount of touchdowns as a running back as well.
Well, just the impact that he's had on that high school. He's going to be the first FBS recruit that they've had, and just what he's been able to do as a running back, as a linebacker. I know as this process has gone along, and a lot of schools have had the chance to see his senior film, a lot have mentioned, you come here and you might have the chance to play on the offensive side of the ball too, and maybe put him in the Wildcat a little bit. He's just that dynamic of a talent. So wherever he ends up going, he's going to be an impact guy. And he ended up as the #5 player in the top 247 rankings, and deservedly so where he is.
So again, this is a player who would be the first FBS player from his high school, and it's not like he snuck onto a roster somewhere, in the group of 5 somewhere.
And it's still, but he's helped lay the foundation for that school moving forward. It's still a young program that was kind of looking to establish itself, and he led them on an unbelievable year. Last year they won their district, and so just the impact that he's been able to make in just a couple of years, and in high school, and he's a really good basketball player too. Just shows you kind of the talent that he has, and has set the roadmap going forward for that program to be in a really good spot to kind of keep producing high school recruits down the road.
We always enjoy the conversation with Andrew Hattersley. Does a great job at Gig'em 247 Sports, so join him right there. There's so much to talk about concerning Texas A&M football, so head on over there and check out Andrew's work. And we appreciate Andrew hosting our post-game shows for Texas A&M here over the past season. All right, so there's Harold Perkins, and then there's another massive talent to talk about, and that's Shamar Stewart and him making his decision here in the next few days.
Yeah, A&M already has just an unbelievable defensive line class, and when you look at what they've been able to put together with guys like Walter Nolan and Malik Silla and Anthony Lucas, the list goes on. And Shamar Stewart would just be kind of that home run addition to finish it all off. His film's unbelievable too, and it's a battle really between Miami and Texas A&M now. And A&M has had the lead for quite a while and has been trying to hold off Mario Cristobal. He's really, gone all out. He convinced Shamar Stewart. He used his in a home during the early signing period because I think there was some concern around Miami that, Shamar might head up to A&M the week before the early signing period and decide to sign early. But, he's just been working away for the last month and a half, and A&M's been working to hold him off. And they had him on campus this past weekend as well as one final kind of pitch. And coming out of the weekend, Shamar Stewart said that it was neck and neck moving into Wednesday. And so it's another one that, coaches are going to be working the phones over the next 2 to 3 days leading up to his decision. He'll be announcing on CBS HQ on Wednesday afternoon. And that's just, that either him or Perkins would help push A&M back over the top to have the number one class of all time for 24/7 sports. And would just complete a really, really strong defensive line class. Jimbo Fisher is a huge believer in building in the trenches, and you can never have enough pass rushers, and he'll find a way to get these guys all on the field and contributing. You can never rotate in enough, and so this has been a huge target, and I think it's helped too that they've only got a couple targets left on the board. It's really Matthews, Harold Perkins, and Shamar Stewart, and so they've really been able to zero in on Shemar, and he had the chance to talk with DJ Durkin last week and get to meet him as well. And so I think that was really big for A&M to kind of have their defensive coordinator in place, for him to feel comfortable with the system. System's not going to change, but a prospect still wants to know what the system's going to look like. And so for A&M to get DJ Durkin on the road and be able to meet with him was huge.
Folks, please hit the like button and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football, and hit that bell for the notifications to know when we go live. We got Andrew Hattersley here to talk Texas A&M football. Join him on Gig'em 247 Sports. So big weekend last weekend, another one coming up this weekend regarding recruiting. Can you kind of just supply the framework on what's going on there?
Yeah, so recruiting never really stops. It's been 2 big weekends for A&M. This one was expected to be quite a big weekend. Not only are programs kind of focused on closing out these couple of weeks on National Signing Day with their 2022 class, but all programs pretty much host junior days as well for the 2023 and 2024 classes. And so A&M's had 2 of the past couple of weekends. Last weekend was kind of a smaller group, but had some huge stars on campus. Tony Mitchell from Alabama, he's a 5-star cornerback, and he told me coming out of the week that A&M did a great job, and he's been down a couple times already, and has definitely shown a lot of interest. Obviously, it's going to be really tough to get a 5-star out of Alabama with Nick Saban there, but A&M certainly kind of locked in their battle now. And then they also had a couple key receivers in town. Jalen Hale's a big one. He hadn't been there since last summer, and he's close friends. Obviously went to the same high school as Haynes King, and so had a chance to talk with Haynes King and meet up with him. And those two are really close. They keep in contact all the time. And then Jonte Cook was another one, and he's also a top receiver in the 2023 class, probably one of the top 2 or 3 guys there, along with Braylon James, who was also in town. And so A&M had kind of their, top receiver targets in town. Jonte Cook was able to spend some time with Evan Stewart, who he's close with, and sounds like A&M made another great impression on him. And they had some talks about the offense and what could look like down the road, opening up the offense potentially once they get more weapons with guys like Evan Stewart and Chris Marshall in the fold, and Noah Thomas too, who they really like. And then this past weekend, they had their big junior day again and had some big defensive guys in town. Lebius Overton arrived on Sunday. So he wasn't there for the junior day, but still a big weekend for him. They're battling quite a few schools for him, obviously, as one of the top defensive linemen. I think he's in the top 5 in terms of the rankings for the 2023 class. Had Anthony Hill, who they continue to do a really nice job with. DJ Hicks from up here in Allen, another guy that they've put themselves in a strong position with early on. And so they had some big targets in town. They had another top cornerback from Virginia, Masad Brown, who raved about the trip and said he'll be coming back later this spring as well, and definitely sees a bright future ahead. And so, as well as A&M's done this 2022 class, they're looking to build really strong moving into the 2023 class as well. And the big thing I've heard a lot of kids mention already is the number 1 class, and that evidence about where A&M is heading. And so you can tell that's definitely going to be a message that A&M kind of sells over the next couple of months.